Welcome to episode shit episode shit of Two Dimensional Champions. Actually, it's episode
16.
16. 16.
Two more episodes. We're at 18.
Oh, I was like, 2 more episodes till what? Like, what are we doing in 2 episodes?
You're so uncomfortable.
Yeah.
For the listeners, I was just like, so you want to do? So we're doing the next podcast there tonight, right? And Julie's just like, what?
Are we doing that? Are we doing
Wait,
that?
When you told me about the dream or nightmare that you had, were we recording when you told that story?
No, I don't think we were.
Let's rehash that real quick.
Yeah. So a couple of weeks ago, depending on how long you've been listening to us, we did 4 episodes in 1 week, and the last episode of that 4-episode block was Gangsta, and that night I actually woke up in the middle of the night. I had a nightmare that Thaddeus had called me up again and been been like, okay, we're recording, we're doing another episode. It's like too late. We were already recording.
It's like we're already in there, man. I'm not deleting anything. It's like, wait, no.
I couldn't quite hear the title of the show that you were talking about, so you were like, you're talking a lot about it, and I was like, I don't even know what this is. Like, did you watch it? Where did it come from? When did it air? Like,
what's going on?
And,
it's like,
yeah, I woke up in a cold sweat. So yeah, so podcasting can give you panic dreams.
Exactly, especially when you have me as your co-host. So you want to go harder, right? You want to do more?
Yeah, we'll do 5 episodes next week. I think that's actually, fuck it. Let's just do one every day. You know,
why not?
Let's just
cocaine's a hell of a drug. We got this.
Oh yeah, we've got this. I think I actually just got an additional couple of packs of those Starbucks double shot drinks you get at like Harris Teeter or whatever. So yeah, I'm
in reference to my grindy personality. We play Diablo 3 Season 4 just came out, and I'm already Paragon level over 400. So that's the thing. I play a lot. I have no life. All right, and if anyone wants to play, let me know. Okay, but we'll get on point soon enough.
Yeah. So email us at twodimensionalchampions@gmail.com. Like us on iTunes. Give us a review if you like the show. It really helps. So do that, please. And today's show we're doing. What'd you say?
I was like, love us.
Yeah, please. Yeah, it really means a lot. And today we're watching, or we have watched. Today we're talking about Rokka no Yusha, or Rokka of the Six Braves, or Rokka Braves of the Six Flowers is what it's called on Wikipedia. So we watched it on Crunchyroll. Mm-hmm. It started airing in July. So watch it there. It's based on a light novel series. And I think, let's see, it's on Crunchyroll. I don't think the books are available in the States. And yeah, so go ahead and watch it before you listen to us, or if you just feel like fucking it, fuck it, just listen to us. We'll spoil the show for you.
Right.
Let's see. Next episode, we're doing Gate, which you can also watch on Crunchyroll. And then after that, I think we're doing Bleach, right?
Yeah,
That's our
yeah.
next two
We
episodes.
had a request to do Bleach, so we'll do the first 5 episodes of Bleach, which I think it's gonna be interesting, like going back and watching that, and sort of
Yeah,
and
but
like comparing it to like what we've seen recently, because it's like I mean I feel like a lot of people have seen Bleach, but it'll still
yeah, I
be.
mean, will it be possible to talk about it without talking about the whole
I
show?
mean I don't know. We'll see.
We'll discover. We'll
Right.
find out in 2 episodes. Yeah.
Right. That's a cliffhanger, man. That's the catch. Will it be possible to talk about just the first 5 episodes of Bleach? Who
Yeah.
knows? Find
Find
out
out in
next
2 weeks.
time on Two Dimensional Champions. Dun dun dun.
Or like next time.
Right.
Or I guess next time, because I mean, if somebody's in the future is listening to this, then they could have all the episodes. So they could be like, yeah, next time, or even this time, they'll be like, fuck, I don't want to watch. I don't want to hear them talk about Rokka. I want to hear them talk about Bleach. So they could switch. You know.
Yeah, that's true.
So that's what's cool about technology. All these newfangled devices. You know.
Shenanigan.
Yep. So so here we go, Rokka. And just a little more background on it. It is based on, I think I already mentioned it, but it's based on a light novel. The light novel has been running since 2011. It's published by Shueisha. It's written by Shio Yamagata, illustrated by, well, I guess it's a pen name, Miyagi. There's 6 books. And then there's also a manga that started in 2012, of which there are 3 volumes. And now there's the anime, which started on July 4th. It's directed, if I remember correctly. Let me make sure I'm right. It's directed by Takeo Takahashi, who directed 2008's Spice and Wolf, which I know was popular with people. I don't think I actually watched it, but
I didn't never even heard of it, but I'm glad it was
yeah,
popular with some people. Not this guy though.
yeah. So he did that. So if you enjoyed Spice and Wolf, well, I don't really know how much this has to do with Spice and Wolf, because from what I know about Spice and Wolf, it's about Middle Ages economics. So anyway, you may not like this show if you like Spice and Wolf. I don't know. It may not be your thing. Um,
And here I thought it was like another like love story or something like My Little Monster, Spice and Wolf. I don't know.
yeah, yeah. Actually, oh, I actually thought this show was going to be another romance series, because I thought it was going to be like one girl and a bunch of dudes, like Braves of the Six Flowers. I was like, oh yeah, it must be a bunch of dudes. So that's actually what I sat down to watch, and when I didn't get that, I was a little like,
Yeah, you're
oh
like, where's the sausage fest, man? Why am I even here?
yeah, why did I tune in?
Exactly. I thought it was
So
gonna be like Seven Samurai. I thought it was like the Seven Samurai story. And I was
ah
like, oh no, it's six. Oh, this is completely different.
yeah. Well, as we discover, that number is kind of up for grabs, actually.
Which we'll get into soon enough.
Yes. So what'd you think?
I loved
Oh,
it.
and actually, before we quit, I'm going to actually rudely interrupt you right there.
Fine. Then
So
take back what I just said.
so usually we do the first 5 episodes,
Mhm.
and with this show, I actually watched I think 7, and then skimmed over the last 2, 8 and 9. So we're going to actually be talking about every episode that's currently out. I think that's about 9 episodes at the moment. I think there's only going to be 12 episodes, so this is going to be the majority of the
Oh,
show.
that's so fucked up, though.
So yeah, so with that,
Wait, do you know if there's like another season, or this is just it?
as far as I know, this is just it.
Wow. Well, we'll see. Okay, that's interesting. I was worried about that.
Yeah, yeah. So go for it. Tell me what you thought.
So I really enjoyed it. I really like enjoyed it a whole lot. I'm really anxious as to talking about how this is actually a short anime with no sequel, because then that means that it just has a month left and then it's done, and I feel like we're just really getting started. But yeah, I think the characters are really interesting. I really like the animation style. I like the way that they sort of introduce and develop the characters, and and it's just and like I think the powers that they all have are like really unique, um, especially like the main character. Like when he was introduced and he was like he walked up to the whole like courtyard and was like I'm the strongest man in the world and I'm gonna like take on these two people. But the whole way his whole style of fighting is like trickery. It made me think a lot of Is It Wrong to Pick Up Girls in a Dungeon? Just in the being like really dexterous, but instead like that main protagonist, he was just like really fast. This guy, he's like I would almost say is like more nimble and tactical with the way that he fights and engages the enemy, and the way they portray that, it's just a delight for me. Um, and yeah, and just sort of like the way that they engage the characters from there. I mean, I could keep on going, but I want to have this not be like a one sided dialogue. So I guess that
No.
was
I was really interested in what, like, in hearing what you wanted to say because I had a very different reaction. Well, not actually super different, but I had a different reaction to
okay.
the show, which was I thought it has a very strong start.
Yes.
I did really enjoy, especially the first episode. But I really enjoyed the first three in particular.
Mm-hmm.
And then I feel like actually the first four actually are quite good. And well, as soon as they go into the temple at the end of episode four, I feel like it really loses itself pacing wise. Um, Especially when I discovered it was going to be 13 episodes or 12 or whatever episode.
Right.
Basically, from episodes 5 to 9, I think what's currently out, it's one story. Or actually, end of four through what's currently airing, and it's all about this. There's supposed to be six Braves, but when they all meet together at this temple, they discover that there's more than six.
One might say there's even 7.
Yeah, or 8.
That's true.
And so the show switches from being like an adventure series to
A whodunit.
a whodunit.
Yeah.
Which I was very, I actually wasn't expecting, and what actually before that shift, what I thought was strange is when Speed Draw is introduced, the girl with the eye patch and the flower and the band over her boobs. I feel like the whole series suddenly shifts to her. And then everybody we got introduced, like, the princess and stuff like that. I feel like it's weird. I feel like the start is really strong. The first 2 episodes, the first episode especially is really, I was like, oh wow, this is great. And then when Speed Draw comes out, I was like, oh cool, it's a new character.
It's Ray Ayanami.
Yeah, it's fucking Ray Ayanami. It's Ray Ayanami with a gun, basically. Yeah. And then it largely becomes about her and was it Adlet? What's his name?
Yeah,
Adlet. Yeah. Oh, I was right. It becomes about her, basically, and their relationship.
Mm-hmm.
And the princess who was introduced in the first episode even says when she sees Speed Draw, she says to Adlet, it's I can understand. She's one of those kinds of girls that makes guys want to protect her or something like that.
Right.
So there's these lines that are actually telling you that this. I mean, it's like the author is just reinforcing that. Okay, really, this is about the two of them. And so the core of the whodunit so far is really about the interplay between how he's really backing her up and is like, because everybody hates her at first because she's the hero killer or the brave killer.
Right.
He's like, no, not like that. She's got the mark of the brave, so she can't be...
So we're on the same side.
So we're on the same side. So there's got to be reasons behind it. So he, fights the others. He stands up to the princess and to her bodyguard dude, and he really fights for her. And so the whodunit is really accenting their personal histories, what she's gone through, what he's gone through, and that she won't back him up. She's fucking Rei Ayanami with a gun.
Right.
So she doesn't care when they're like, "Hey, we'll torture Adlet or whatever."
It's like seems legit.
Yeah, and so when he escapes the temple, he brings her with him. Knocks. It's just I feel like the series gets off to a really strong start and then just like goes into this swamp, which is actually appropriate, I guess, because of the that fucking girl with the swamp in her stomach or something.
Yeah. Did you see that fight that they had?
Yeah, she barfs
She brought
with everything
demons.
she ate. That actually was really cool, which kind of redeemed a really annoying character.
I think I so.
But you see what I mean? Like, I just feel like it really lost. It was like it started off with a really cool world and a really cool cast of characters. And Adlet is still cool. I mean, he's awesome. Like you said, I completely agree. He's a really cool character. It's fun to see that he's not just super strong. That it's really his intelligence and his wit. Which I
It's
guess.
actually he's really weak.
Yeah, he's
It's not
really.
that he's
Oh
not
yeah.
strong; it's that he's weak.
Yeah. Oh
Actually,
yeah. So I really enjoyed that. I just think that the show just totally the story just totally derailed. And I mean, I'm not familiar with the light novels, but if this show ends at episode 13, they've gone nowhere. I
yeah,
mean,
that's my major like. So, not taking the length of the episode into account right now, I really enjoy Doubt and Judge, those sort of dark whodunit mangas. I don't even think that they have an anime out like that, but I really do enjoy that sort of um, the way that the characters interact in those sort of situations. Now, what most anime shows do when they have six or in this case seven characters, like Triage Acts or whatever, is that they'll take an episode or two where they mainly focus on one character. They do a flashback. They talk about like where they came from and how they happened and stuff like that. But the way that this ended up doing is when they introduce all the characters really fast, but then the way you end up finding out about the characters is that the way they interact with each other because they're suspicious of different characters. For me, I think that that's sort of a natural way of trying to develop the characters without having like a real structured formulaic thing. The episodes for me, like I think I even had like pacing issues with Gangsta, which I love. By the way, I think it's a great anime. But with this, even though things did not happen quickly, I was always captivated by it. Like I was always like curious as to how these people were going to interact. I was wondering who was the good person, who was the bad person, how this would have all like played out and stuff like that. And so for me, it's like it's really engaged, and I'm really excited about it. If it's ending in 3 episodes, you said 12. Excuse me.
yeah, I think it's 12.
So if it's ending in 3 episodes, like then the main arc of the story, which is them gathering together and fighting the demon, like I don't know how they're gonna wrap that up properly. You know,
Yeah.
like I mean,
I
they would have to end this and then have the journey and then have the recap. Like, that would have to be like the next 3 episodes, unless there's some sort of crazy plot twist. You know.
yeah, I mean, because they haven't even made it to the land of the demons. I mean,
Right.
they haven't even gotten there. I think my issue with that is, yeah, Gangsta has slow pacing too, but with Gangsta, the whole show, even the first episode, has the same pace. So it's where I didn't like this one, because I felt like, especially the first episode, was really well done,
Yeah.
just really very tightly written.
Yeah.
Whereas I feel like the opening and everything about the show sets you up for a different show. And if the vast majority of counting the episodes that haven't aired yet, so this is going on if it just continues that same story, the bulk of the show is a whodunit. So everything is the first episode is going to be very misleading. If you think this is going to be like an action adventure show, it's not.
Well, but there is action.
I mean, there's action, but it's not a travel show. You know what I mean? It's not this. You're not going to get what's in the opening. And I just feel like if the whodunit go. I mean, so I got to episode 5, and I was like, well, I'll watch one more and see if they solve this in the next one, because they've got to solve it in the next one. They didn't, and I wasn't intrigued by it. I kept feeling like it was, they kept switching to somebody else who was going to be more suspicious than anybody else, and then there was some cool, plot devices. I liked it when Speeddraw just talks about how Adlet, kind of without thinking, really did make himself the most suspicious of the group. And then there's the guy who talks like a cat, who is like there to be, a trap for the reader, basically, because you look at him and you're like, this guy must be up to some shady shit. He turns out to be actually a really kind of cool,
Right.
cool dude. And I don't know. I think that, I guess what I'm trying to say is I don't know how much of the temple story is natural, or it's just this kind of artificially supported whodunit just by the fact that it keeps switching to characters and being like, oh, it could be this, but it's not. But who could it be? But there's an 8th, not just a 7th.
I mean, and the 8th, like, it doesn't even. Another thing that, well, just in lieu of that, is that so right now you're in the position with Adlet, and you're going through, and he knows that it's not him. Everyone thinks that it's him, and then he's at a hostage, so everyone really thinks that it's him. So he's trying to figure out like what the other thing is, and then he'll come up with these options. Like there's this one option which was like of this, that, or the other, because he, like the viewer, is sort of like new to all these powers, all these people's abilities, and all this other stuff. So, and he's trying to figure it out. But then you like he'll be like, oh, well then what about this idea? And then like he'll like find a way to like talk to whatever, like some person, and then they're like, that's actually impossible. You're still the most suspicious person. Like, fuck. So he'll like run off, and he's just trying to figure out just like what's going on, and who, but like the secret. So like they say that there's a potential 8th, just in the sense of it's like the person might needed someone else to conspire with.
Yeah. I mean, maybe you can answer this for me, but the question I had is, at some point they say that the only person who can release the spell on the temple is the person who made it, right? Who actually put the sword in the stone and all that. Did I understand that correctly? And if they take this like sword out and say the right words, it's only them who can dispel it.
Oh, yeah. I actually I do vaguely.
Because after I was watching more episodes, I thought, well, why don't they just have them all take turns saying the right words and trying to take the sword out,
Right.
rather than go through this whole thing of like, oh, we're gonna fucking kill somebody or torture them. Like, just take turns saying the words, because if they all know the words, and if there's only theoretically one set of particular terms, and we're told by the army guy that there's a particular thing you say and there is. So according to that, why don't they all just line up, and then they'll find out who the jerk is,
Yeah.
basically.
I think I remember like having that thought, and then there being a reason that doesn't work. But honestly, I'm not really
I mean,
sure.
there might be a reason the way that didn't work, because I skipped through 8 and 9 because I was just seeing if this actually ended or if it just kept going.
Right.
And I don't know. I mean, I actually at this point I think it's the princess. I think it's her, because she obviously really wanted to leave the the temp like or her home, because of the complicated political history she went through, and just that nobody was taught. She really enjoys talking to people who treat her as an equal, and she had never had that experience before.
Right.
So I almost think it's her. But I mean, then again, it's like, but what about the mark? Like, is it? Can it just be? Is it just like a tattoo? Is there what's like when we see Adlet get it in the first episode, it seems like it's pretty magical.
Right. The way
So
that it happened.
yeah, so just I don't know. Like I felt it was really frustrating. I was like, I actually think this story would have been more interesting had it happened later on when we had gotten to know some of these characters, and we like the author had already created um, kind of a reader's expectations for each character before going into this whodunit. Because I think it would have been more interesting if there was like a real sense of betrayal a little later on.
Well,
But this, we just don't know anybody, so he's relying rather on. I feel like he's rather on characters that you can really, get into the meat of their stories and be like, well, it could be them because of this. Like the princess, I can give a reason why it wouldn't be her too. So rather than do that, we just don't know them, you know.
right.
And I feel like that's like a cop out. I feel like that's you know what I mean? We just don't know them, and so we're working from his perspective, which is true. Like you said, it is definitely like the reader's perspective of we're not familiar with their powers and all that. But I feel like that I don't know, and I also feel like we had a really good pace going of them going to the to the demon world or the demon land or something like that, and this whole thing felt like it was going to be an episode at most of this mission, and for it to become this long of a story, I just feel like is. I mean, I just found myself getting bored.
Well, really, because it's like for me, it's like I think that the characters are interesting, like and I'm curious about them, like and they all seem to know something, but they tease you with the information that they give you, and in some instances I can see how that's frustrating, but it's like on other instances I just think it's interesting, like the swamp chick, which usually I'm just like it's a little fucking girl, like it's like God, like, that's so weird, but then they're like no, but she's really strong, and then like she'll just get like really impatient and then like almost eat her little like plant thing or
Yeah,
whatever.
she shoves it down her
And then
throat.
everyone's just like, whoa, 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 whoa! Listen, don't stop it, don't calm down, please, don't do that, Because and she's just like, let's just torture and kill everybody. I'm like, okay, well this little girl's fucking crazy, and uh I mean, I feel like Flamey's like Ray Ayanami and stuff, but like the cat assassin dude or whatever, like that whole exchange that he had with Adlet, like that fight, I thought was awesome. I thought it was like
Yeah,
really, really like well done, and
that was really interesting. Yeah.
and like the way that it was all, he's like I talk funny because like I stylize my combat with the cat. So you're like, okay, well, that's cool, and then like and he just fucks up Adlet, and then like he does the poison that so he's like blind, he's like running into shit, but the other guy can hear the assassin can hear him, and was just like chasing him through the woods and all that jazz, and it was just like, but then he ended up it made me think of the fight of Naruto and Byakuya. I mean,
Uh,
uh,
Ichigo and Byakuya?
no, no, no. Naruto and the guy
Oh, Neji.
Neji, yes. Um, and it was like here's this like average sort of dude who's just fighting this like really, really, really like really, really good fighter, like actually like one of the best in the world, and how he tried to trick him and all that jazz. Like I just thought that was neat. That was an entertaining exchange between that I thought happened. And then
Yeah, I agree with that. That was really cool.
yeah, and then it's like then there was that other scene that happened. There was a flashback between Flammy and Adlet, right? and where you hear about like Adlet's past, where he like lost his sister, lost his best friend, lost his town, like literally went to go training with nothing, and like the whole time he was like it was almost hard watching that old man beat the shit out of that kid who was
Oh
like
yeah.
had you could see his bones, you could see his ribs or whatever, and he was just like kicking the shit out of him. He was like smile and laugh, smile and laugh. That's the only way that you'll be able to do this is like smile and laugh, which is like mind breaking, you know?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
so it's sort of like and everyone's like, why is this guy like always smiling even though it's like he's like I am so fucked right now. Like he's just
Yeah.
like completely like screwed and he's trying to figure it out and he's like still like trying to smile and keep it all together and stuff. You know, and like I thought that was like a really interesting, well delivered storyline. You know,
Yeah, I thought that was very cool too. His backstory is very interesting.
yeah, and it's like that's like just another um like good delivery of the story for what it is, and these are the things that are happening while they're trapped. So it's like yes, there's wanting to resolve this exchange, but it's very like but like there's so much interesting stuff that's happening in the meantime, which I think is okay. The combat between uh, the swamp girl and then the two thing, and she's just like I found her character to probably be the least interesting of all of the characters, but then like her ability I thought was like really interesting and funny, and
Yeah, her ability is really funny. I mean that definitely woke me up a little bit. I think my problem is I just don't think apart from Adlet and the cat guy is more interesting as you get to know him. But I feel like otherwise the characters just didn't do it for me. Generally, I just don't know enough about them. Apart, there's Rei Ayanami, and the princess. There's some interesting stuff and some darker areas they could go with her. And then her bodyguard, who just hasn't said much at all, apart from the fact that he obviously likes the princess, and
E16.
uh, yeah, and that too. uh, I think, and I think you kind of nailed it, which is depending on how much you enjoy these characters, is how much you're going to enjoy the majority of this show.
Yeah,
If you're not, I just wasn't very drawn in by them. Apart from Adlet, and apart from and it's like I said, I agree with the stuff you were mentioning, which is those are really cool scenes, like really great scenes. I just feel like I feel like the background support stuff, his background, actually Ray's background, and all that is really interesting. But the core of what's currently going on in the story, I just feel like is not strong. Mainly because I just don't I'm just not into these characters as much as you are. On the other hand, if you really get into these characters, I mean, yeah, I think you make a really strong case for for that,
right.
which is it is really well uh, done in terms of how they interact, and there's just a lot of cool hooks with that. I just don't
Well,
think.
like how else would you discover the character? How else would you learn more about the characters? Do you prefer that I hate to say it, like, but it's used in other animes like the Triage X style where it's like now this episode is all about this character and then this episode is all about this character.
Actually, I think the way well, I mean, the way I would have done it is, and this actually brings up something I really love about the show, which is I love the background art. I love the architectural design. I love the world that the author has thought up with, and I love the ziggurats and the sort of like almost. I'm probably going to get this wrong. Incan or Mayan influenced structures and that whole world that was created, I find really interesting. So the way I think I would have done it is just I mean he's obviously got a very densely populated and interesting world. So I would have just had something else happen that gets all of these characters involved with each other. And I would have moved this whodunit thing for later, basically, because I mean, there's the talking demon who killed Adlet's family and his whole, basically
Well,
the whole
I don't
town.
think he killed them, right?
Well, he didn't personally kill them, but he kind of set those events in motion.
he negotiated them to side with the demon lord, which like
Yeah.
puts to me like that puts like an interesting political thing, and
Oh yeah. Well, actually, when they, I think it's episode 3, when they first go to when Adlet and Speeddraw go to the town that's been attacked, and it's just the soldiers that are left, and he's informing them about the temple. My actually first thought was like, oh well, these guys are going to pull something on them. I was like, they're doing something with them.
mhm.
Like either this is all a trap, or that was my first thought. Was like, oh, something big. There's fuckery about,
There's fuckery
and
afoot.
yeah, and so my idea was that we already had this intrigue where Speeddraw is basically wanted dead by the other Braves, and Adlet's going to have to explain his case and her case. But then also it looks like there's, like you were saying, the political intrigue was already apparent by episode 3, because
Mhm.
I mean, of just from the tournament at the beginning, you saw that the king was decrepit, obviously not in power, and then this is reinforced by what the princess tells Adlet, I think, in episode 2. And so you had it there, and so I really thought that this town, there was something, obviously something was going to happen when with all the heroes meeting together. So
Right.
I thought it was going to be they're not going to be able to get together. I just think that so basically, in answer to your question, I love the world. I love this this environment that's been created by the author, and I think that there are other interesting scenarios that he could have come up with apart from this overly long temple story, which basically puts them in the same room for 4 episodes. When you've got this really interesting world out there with all this shit happening that they essentially get removed of. So I feel like that the author took away, to me, what the most interesting part of the story was, which was the world they were in.
Mhm.
He took that away.
But in contrast, so say the temple wasn't here, then they would all meet up, close the barrier, so no one can leave the demon thing, and then go fight the demon thing. It's only 13 episodes or whatever, and then it would be over. So it's like
Well, that's not necessarily the only other option. I mean,
well, there needs to be something, right?
there needs to be something, but I just think that something could have been something more interesting than this closed room scenario. Which, I mean, just for me, the world was the most interesting part of the story, like
Right.
the backgrounds of all the characters, and I just feel like the author hamstringed himself by essentially doing a story that removed what was the most interesting part of the series. But so in answer to your question, I don't think I think the one episode per character thing, that's not the way to go either. I mean, there's just the cast has a lot of potential. There's a lot of really fascinating backstory there.
Mhm.
I just think they could have done something a lot cooler.
Yeah. Well, are there any so are there any episodes in particular which you watched and you were actually like didn't have anything that you liked in that episode, or like because so you don't like the scenario, right?
Yeah,
Where they're in it, but then there's certain things that are happening in the scenario which you liked.
yeah. Oh well, and there's some really strong stuff about it. I just think, um, like I was saying before, I think the general story of the closed room, I don't think is strong. But on the other hand, you get the backstories, which are really interesting. And like the kid's ability of barfing up the monsters is cool.
Right.
I mean, there's tidbits there. It just depends on are those tidbits going to be enough to bring a viewer to watch the whole show.
Okay. So the lulls in between those, so like the characters are interest are interesting. Do you find the characters to be interesting?
I
The
like
ones that they've talked about.
yeah the ones that we know some about. Yeah, I mean otherwise I think like the kid. I mean the kid is pretty. I don't know. The barfing thing was interesting, but before that it was
Right.
just like
It's
really.
kind of like
And then the cat person was kind of similar too. Before he was just like a farce basically, and then when he finally got interesting, it was like okay there is something there. So yeah, I mean potentially there's. I mean you've got to and. Honestly, I like the princess. I think she's a character ripe for doing something dark, basically.
it's so interesting. So that you think it's the princess, because I really think that it's the blue lady or whatever, the girl who had the key
Yeah,
to the whole thing. Because it's like, you know, I mean, and it's interesting that we're talking about the whodunit part, but it's like she's the only person that had the key, and then when he blew open the door was not blown apart.
yeah,
The bombs went off, and then it just opened.
yeah,
So
yeah. I mean, I just don't think there's a lot to go on. I mean, it really. I mean, it could be any of them. I just. I don't know. I mean, I really don't know. And actually, that's why I think this story would have been stronger or more interesting for me if this had happened later. Because if I had known more about the characters when this occurred,
right.
I would also be more involved because I was like, oh, it can't be them because of all these things that they've done. Basically, like I know this person, and you think you know this person, and then suddenly you're like, wait a second,
And
if
I
there's
would chalk that up just to their how many episodes that they have.
yeah,
I really wish that this was longer. I really wish that this was like a 24 episode season
yeah.
where they could.
And what was really disappointing for me is I thought it was going to be 24 episodes because they changed the opening like episode 4 or 5 or
Yeah,
something like that.
that was.
Yeah. And so my immediate reaction at first I was like, what the fuck? But and then the endings were changing because it was focusing like on a different character. It seemed like each change. So my thought was like, oh, they're just going through each one of the Braves. Like each one of the Braves is going to get an ending or something like that.
Right.
And I was like, oh, cool. So this is going to be like a long show. I was like, cool. I was down for that actually. And then as soon as I saw it was 12, I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah, yeah. That's I I I think that probably the worst, in my opinion, the worst thing about this anime is it's gonna be 12 episodes.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, there's no way they're going to end it satisfyingly in 12 episodes.
Right. So
Which is really disappointing because my favorite episode by far is the first episode. And the first episode, I was like, "Fuck, I'm watching more of this show."
yeah,
Like this is awesome. I mean, I loved his introduction. I thought the game where where he interrupts the battle and fights them, that was brilliant. That was so cool. And also, like I was saying before, I love the background. I love the art. I love the architecture. I fucking love this world. I
yeah,
think it's really really interesting and it's a cool spin on like the fantasy, ancient evil storyline without being too much of an RPG. You know what I mean? Like
right.
it's just after watching, is it wrong to pick up girls in a dungeon and stuff like that? It was nice to have a fantasy series that like was really not trying to be a role playing game anime. And I like the characters and the interactions and stuff. So, and then episode 2, I was on board. I was like, sweet, more of this. And then 3, when they introduced speed draw, I was like, okay, well, they're really paying a lot of attention to this chick. And then 4, it was just like more and more the the little stuff was awesome, but the big strokes of the story were just not keeping me involved.
Interesting.
Which is a sharp difference between the first 2 or 3, where I was like where the big strokes were being reinforced by the really cool smaller aspects of the story.
Yeah, it's like for me, this is similar in a sense to Food Wars when I'm watching from a viewer's perspective, because like I'll start an episode, and then when it's over, I'm like, oh fuck, I want to know like the next one. Like I don't know why I don't get bored, because I normally get like bored, and I don't know why I don't get bored with Food Wars. It's a show about fucking cooking. So I don't know. I don't know what it is that's like that's really like sucking me into these things, but it's like sorry to say, it's like with Gangsta, I love it, but I haven't, and I've watched like a couple more episodes after we did the podcast, but I haven't kept current with it. With Food Wars, I thought it was really great. I thought it was really funny, and I've kept current with it. With this, it's like I think I'm going to keep current with it. It's like,
Yeah.
and I think that it's hard for me to tell why that is. I don't know.
Well, I think Food Wars moves very quickly too. I mean, Food Wars moves. And I think that was the first episode of Food Wars. I was really, I was kind of like, okay, I'm not too sure about this. But then it kept sucking me in, and by episode 5, I was like, fuck yeah, it was funny. It was really funny, and it was the competition style shonen anime, and that draws you in. And whereas Rokka, it was the opposite. The first episode was really interesting, and then for me, it just totally got I don't know. I feel like pacing wise, they had just lost it because I think it set up a pace for itself and then betrayed its own pace.
Right.
That's kind of how I feel about it. And it teases you with all this really interesting stuff. I love the monsters. I actually like the CG of how they brought the monsters to life in the show. And I like the different abilities of all the characters, and it kind of sets up this nice head of steam for itself. And then it's like, oh yeah, and about that.
And the fights are really good.
The fights are really good too.
A lot of violence.
Yeah. There is, yeah. But actually, I was surprised you liked this as much as you did, because I never felt like any of the characters were ever in danger, ever.
Yeah. I don't know.
I mean, you know what I mean, and that's something that you like, which is that real sense of like edginess.
I sort of feel like it's coming though.
I don't think it's coming. I really don't think it is. Like, I think it's.
There's a chance. Okay, because another thing, like specifically, is that when they were talking about the petals, there's 6 petals on the flower, right, on each of their tattoos, and they said when one of the members dies, a petal disappears.
Yeah.
So like for me, even though doesn't really seem like set up like that, it seems like it's sort of accepted. It's like, well, we all need to work together in order to do this, and we're probably gonna die. Like that. That's sort of like the interpretation that I have, is that they're going to. Well, at least, I mean, again, 3 episodes left with a flock, but like I'm not thinking about that. Like if I had that in my mind when I watched this, I think that my view of the anime would be completely different.
Yeah.
Hearing it now, it's like, oh, no, like we're going into. I was like, no, it can't be true. It can't be. But like hearing it now, there's definitely a sense of like, what the fuck. Like, I even think that probably the pacing would have bothered me a whole lot more if I knew that there were only 12 more episodes, because I would have been like, get the fuck on with it. You don't have a lot of time left. Like Claymore, for instance.
Oh, yeah.
It's like I was like, oh my god, there's only a couple of episodes left. How are they gonna? Oh, they just wrapped it up really sloppy in the last 2 episodes. Yeah. Okay, well then, fuck you. Like
let's have a fight with Priscilla right now.
Right, exactly.
In magma.
Magma.
Because volcanoes make everything more dramatic.
And like that was really bad, but everything up to Claymore up to that point was really good, in my opinion. And that's like when you don't take away the ending, like I have no idea how they're gonna wrap it up. I'm probably gonna hate, like the next few episodes or something like that, or be really frustrated by it unless something crazy cool happens. But up until the point, the way they developed the characters, the way that they've done the fighting, the way that they've, it's been really interesting to me. Yeah, like it would be cool. If I guess so, here's the way that I would spin it out: is it's like it would be cool if they weren't stuck in this area for so long. I can see that. But the other thing too is it's like is it detracting so but like some of the stuff that happens I just think is so entertaining. You know, but like some of the exchanges between characters, some of the like other like sort of stuff I just think is so entertaining in the way that you know everyone's like sort of splitting off in different pairs and you can see how they interact with each other and then some people are like fuck you, I'm not going with the pair, I'm gonna go do my own shit or whatever, and they're like that's not part of the plan. It's like I like how it's not part of the plan. You know, I like how it's how there's these 6 or 7 like
Or it.
or or 8 well no in this instance 7 superpower characters, right,
Yeah.
but they're not all necessarily on the same side or they don't do things the same way. The assassin negotiated for money from the king before he went in and do anything because that's he's like I don't fight unless it's for money, you know, like the other demon chick, like she was killing everyone and then was like, oh wow, my mom, you know, like everyone, fuck everyone. I'm just gonna like kill them. But then the assassin's like, you know, hey, listen, I've been told to hit on families and kill their loved ones, and they always buckle. I don't trust, you know. It's like, which is like a completely different dark thing. The 16-year-old guy is just just in love with like the chick, and then the princess, and then she's like, you know, yo dog, like I know you like me, but back the fuck off and stop trying to kill this guy that I'm trying to defend. You know, he's our fucking comrade. Like, chill out. And like so that was like the conflict between long lost friends. I don't know. It's like it's just all neat to me. I don't know why I like it so much. I just really like it.
You just like the bunny ears, man. Let's be real. You just like the bunny ears.
I like tits more than bunny ears.
Yeah, but she comes with tits
Yeah,
too.
that's true,
And
but I'm not that dude with bunny ears. Um,
I mean, I'm a sucker for Ray. I mean, I'm actually surprised I didn't like the show more just because of that. I mean, it's like
exactly.
it's basically fantasy shotgun Ray.
Exactly. It's like Ray with guns. Who wouldn't be into that? Um,
Yeah, I mean, I like the animation. There's some great stuff about it. I just think that the episode count is going to really kill some people.
yeah, no, I mean
And
that's like again. But if you take out the episode part,
yeah, but even if you take out the episode part, I just don't think there's some really cool little stuff, but I haven't been convinced by how the choices that the author has made so far with the big story movements that anything really super awesome is going to happen later. I think maybe one or two of them will die at the end. You know, probably maybe the demon chick will die, and like the guy will be like, "But I love you," and she's gonna be like, "Yeah, I loved you too, Blarg. I'm dead." He'll end up with the blonde chick or something like that. I just feel like it'll be something like that, and it's just not gonna be. You know, maybe the bodyguard will die, but I just don't have enough, and I feel like there's going to be a lot of really cool shit that'll happen on the way. Like I think there'll be some great fights. I think there'll be some really interesting flashback, you know, character dynamic stuff. But in terms of big story movements, I feel like this locked room scenario really was disappointing to me because it's like that was the this is the big first meeting of all these characters. Is this like? I just don't think I just wasn't impressed by that at all. Um, so I don't know. I just that didn't make me. It just wasn't enough for me to be like, yeah, well, there'll be some badass stuff though. I feel like there's gonna be some really really cool stuff again. I don't know. It didn't fill me with confidence.
and so and the regardless of the big overarching theme, the knowing that these potential gems will most likely happen in the future is not enough to watch more of it. I'm assuming.
Not for me, because it just there's a lot of cool little stuff, but it's not cool enough for me. For me, I don't think. I mean, it's just like with Food Wars. I like the characters more. You know, I just like there was some really funny stuff. Whereas there's a couple of funny moments, but there's nothing really outstanding. And you know, uh, so the princess has an interesting interaction with Adlet, but it's still mainly just she likes him. He thinks she's hot, But oh, there's this new chick who he also thinks is super cute, who's really dark and dynamic. I haven't seen anything in it so far that like there's the crazy guy who's actually really cool, who talks like a cat. There's the fucking sociopathic little girl who barfs. I mean, it's kind of fun, but it's like a spin on something I've already seen before. You know what I mean? It's not a. It's not something that's I feel like engaging enough to keep me on, uh, long haul. I mean, I think if the pace had been kept up with the first three episodes, and this locked room thing had been two episodes at most, even and this is disregarding the 12 episode count thing. I think if it had kept up that pace and world building that it had in the first, especially the first episode, I would be fucking all over the place with this show.
Right.
I'd be like, great, excellent, I'm there. I just feel like, you know, the stuff I liked most about the show got ditched in three, or at the end of four when they got to the temple.
Hmm.
But on the other hand, Spice and Wolf got a sequel, so this guy's worked on shows that have had 12 episode first seasons and then have come back for another block. So it could get a second season, I mean, I could end up eating my shorts, So
Yeah, that'd be interesting. Yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna write it out. I'm gonna watch. I'm gonna finish it and
well,
sort of see
let me
how
know
it
too.
goes. Yeah, I'll bring it back, and I
Because I could
probably
also,
will be disappointed, but
well, I could also be full of shit too, I mean, so yeah, so I mean, let me know what you feel like it is, and then I mean, whenever if the light novels are brought over here, because light novels are actually, there's a fair number of them that are getting published over here now, so maybe we'll see it, and maybe there's more to it than I'm giving it credit for. But so what's your grade for it, and who would you recommend it to?
um, it's interesting. Is one thing that I found out with the grading thing that we've done is, and this is sort of something that I touched on earlier, is that there have been times that we've given things low grades, or at least that I've personally given something a low grade, and then kept watching it while giving something a high grade and not still watch and not continue watching it. You know,
Yeah.
like somehow I finished Triage X, but I feel like that was just like just because it was our first one, and I was like, I've got to eat this kale salad, or like what it's like I just gotta like scarf this
Yeah.
down in order to
Yeah,
go through
yeah,
it.
yeah, yeah. I know secretly you have a giant Triage X poster in your room. You've got all the books, and you're just like, I fucking love this show.
Right.
It's like, I mean,
I'm a closet Triage X fanboy. You found me
you
out.
actually have a blog, just about the show.
Yes. So I would like many others probably give this like a 7 or 8. I think that it is an above average summer show that's going on, and I really enjoyed it. I would recommend it to people who like high quality fight scenes and animation, and also who like whodunit sort of shows or whatever. Where it's not a happy-go-lucky, everyone works together and everyone like gets along well, but there's sort of strife within the core of the group. Uh, so that like I think people who are into those sort of character interactions and dynamics would enjoy this. Um, and I'm confident that I'm going to finish this series. So which says more about it than other 7 or 8 stars that I've ranked and not touched since for whatever
Yeah,
reason.
cool. Yeah, I give it a 4.
Yeah.
I just, you know, I think really it just again, like I said before, I think it just really hamstringed itself with the locked room scenario. But I mean, there's different ways of looking at that. And surprisingly, wow, I would not have imagined saying this prior to how I'm now familiar with the story, or prior to watching it. But yeah, I would definitely recommend it to people who enjoy a fantasy series that, like, let's say you really like fantasy, you've read a lot, you've read Lord of the Rings, whatever, you like all these shows, seen a lot of anime, and you want to see something that's short but will have a little bit of a spin on stuff you're familiar with, in the, like, especially anime, particular fantasy genre. I would give this a shot, especially if you like. Actually, the world building is cool. I really like the world that they have in the first few episodes. So, you know, um, maybe the light novels are really awesome. So, I mean, that could be another factor that I'm missing. But yeah, if like you said, if you like that kind of suspicious dynamic where you don't want to just see a gang of friends. If you want to see, like, if, like, well, it's not One Piece, but if One Piece, if everybody was like super suspicious of each other and was like, we're actually, there's enemies amongst us, instead of all of us being just happy-go-lucky comrades. And yeah, this show definitely does that. So yeah, if you want to see that sort of a spin on things,
Yeah.
with possibly no reward.
We'll rock. Yeah, I think that's about it.
Yeah. Sweet. Well, let me know. Let me know what you think of the rest of it as it continues airing.
Yeah, in a couple weeks, few weeks. I am really upset that it's going to be ending as quickly as it is because I have no idea how they're going to be able to wrap all that up. But
I mean, I was really upset when I found that out, and I didn't even enjoy it as much as you. I was really because I was actually under the expectation, especially the way it was paced, that it was going to be at least 24 episodes.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's
so.
I mean, we'll see. But yeah.
But
find out.
Think that covers it. So
and next up is Gate.
And so email us or comment if you think otherwise about this show, or agree with one of us. So yeah, let us know. But otherwise, I think that pretty much wraps up our watch of Rokka.
Yep. All right. Well, thank you very much for tuning in, and we will catch you next time.
Catch you all next episode.